You love them. You're happy for them. And still, something in you tightens when they talk about their new job, their relationship, their good news. You nod. You say, "That's amazing. I'm so happy for you." And you mean it. But an uncomfortable voice in the background whispers, "Why not me?" This video is about that feeling, the jealousy you're not proud of, especially when it's aimed at the people you care about most. 1. The quiet jealousy. You don't talk about. You don't slam doors. You don't wish them harm. You don't even think of yourself as a jealous person. It's smaller than that, quieter. It's the pause before you answer their good news, the tiny drop in your stomach when they post another achievement, the way you suddenly feel tired after hearing how well their life is going. You might notice yourself avoiding asking about their life because you don't want to compare, minimizing your own struggles because you don't want to sound bitter, overcompensating, being extra supportive, almost to prove to yourself that you're not jealous. And afterward, you feel guilty. You tell yourself, "A good friend wouldn't feel this way." You start judging your character instead of understanding your reaction. But jealousy of people you love is not just a moral issue. It's a psychological pattern. And once you see what your brain is actually doing, the shame starts to loosen. 2. You're not broken. You're comparing. Let's reframe this. Jealousy isn't proof that you're a bad person. It's proof that your brain is doing something very human. Automatic comparison. Your mind is constantly asking, "Where do I stand? Am I safe? Am I falling behind?" When someone you love succeeds, your brain doesn't just see their story. It quietly turns the camera back on you. Their promotion becomes a mirror for your job. Their relationship becomes a mirror for your loneliness. Their progress becomes a mirror for where you feel stuck. The jealousy isn't actually about their happiness. It's about what their happiness seems to say about you. Not, "They shouldn't have this," but, "If they have this and I don't, what does that mean about me?" That question is painful, so your mind wraps it in jealousy, guilt, and confusion. But underneath, there's usually something very simple, a desire you haven't fully admitted to yourself yet. 3. The psychology behind jealousy of loved ones. Let's go a bit deeper into what's happening in your brain. There are 3 key systems at play. 1. Social comparison, your brain's measuring tool. 2. Threat detection, your brain's alarm system. 3. Self-concept, your internal story about who you are. 3.1. Social comparison. People like me should be. Your brain is wired to compare you to your group. Friends, siblings, colleagues, people around your age. Psychologists call this social comparison. It's not a choice. It's how your brain estimates your status and safety. So, when a close friend gets something you deeply care about, a loving partner, financial stability, creative success, your brain doesn't treat it as random. It thinks, "They're similar to me. If they're there, why am I still here?" Now, it's no longer their story. It's evidence. Evidence your brain uses to judge your own life. 3.2. Threat detection. Am I losing my place? Jealousy is not just sadness, it's also threat. Your threat system isn't only about physical danger, it also tracks emotional and social risks. When someone close to you moves up in some area, your brain can quietly whisper, "Will they still relate to me? Will I be left behind? Will they outgrow me? Am I now the less successful one in this dynamic?" Even if you consciously feel proud of them, your deeper systems are checking for loss. Loss of closeness, loss of status, loss of role. And whenever the brain senses loss, it reacts, sometimes with sadness, sometimes with anxiety, sometimes with jealousy. 3.3 Self-concept. This doesn't match who I thought I'd be. We all carry a quiet timeline in our head, an unspoken schedule of how our life should look by now. By this age, I should have this kind of relationship, be earning this much, be more stable, be more put together. When someone you love reaches a milestone that was on your imagined timeline, it clashes with your internal story. Your brain goes, "This was supposed to be my chapter too. If they've reached it and I haven't, am I failing my own story?" That gap between your imagined self and your current self is where jealousy grows. Not because you don't want them to have it, but because their life exposes the distance between where you are and where you thought you'd be. For a simple metaphor, the shed race that isn't won. Imagine there's a track. You and your friend stand at the starting line together. Same school, same hometown, same age, same starting conditions, at least on the surface. Your brain quietly creates a rule. We're in the same race. Now imagine they start hitting milestones: job, relationship, house, recognition. If you're still figuring things out, it feels like they're farther ahead on the same track. But here's the problem. There is no shared track. You are running on different terrain, with different invisible weights, different weather over your head. The brain hates that kind of complexity. So, it simplifies. We started together. They're ahead. I'm behind. Jealousy is what you feel when your brain mistakes separate journeys for a single race. The work is not to deny the feeling, it's to correct the map. 5. A practical framework, turning jealousy into information. Let's talk about what you can actually do with this. Not to become a saint who never feels jealousy, but to become someone who uses it as data, not as self-destruction. Here's a 4-step framework. Step 1. Name the exact trigger. What to do. The next time you feel that inner sting, don't judge it. Just pause and ask yourself one clear question. What exactly about their situation hurts me? Not, they're doing well. Be specific. Is it the feeling of being chosen, the stability, the creative freedom, the public recognition, the sense of direction? Why it works in the brain. Specificity moves your brain from emotion mode to meaning mode. When you label a feeling and its trigger, the amygdala, your alarm center, calms down, and the prefrontal cortex, your thinking center, comes online. You shift from, "I'm just a bad person," to, "Oh, my system is reacting to this unmet need." Example, your friend gets engaged. Instead of, "I'm jealous," you realize, "I'm actually hurting because I crave emotional safety, and I don't feel that in my life right now." Now jealousy has turned into a signal, not a verdict. Step 2. Separate them from what they represent. What to do? Ask yourself, if I remove this specific person, what does their life represent to me? Maybe they represent being chosen, being respected, being financially secure, being seen as successful. Why it works in the brain. Your brain often attaches big abstract desires onto real people. By separating the person from the symbol, you reduce the sense of threat to the relationship. Oxytocin-based bonding, connection, can come back online when the brain no longer sees them as an enemy of your self-worth. Example, you feel jealous of your sibling's career. You realize it's not their job you want. It's the feeling of being trusted with responsibility and being seen as capable. Now, you don't have to resent them. You can focus on building that feeling in your own context. Step 3. Translate jealousy into a value. What to do? Turn the question around. What does my jealousy reveal that I deeply value? Jealousy is rarely about something you truly don't care about. It usually points straight at something that matters to you. Why it works in the brain. When you frame jealousy as a value detector, you recruit motivational systems instead of shame systems. Dopamine, the brain chemical linked to motivation and pursuit, responds better to clear, valued goals than to vague self-criticism. Example, you feel jealous of a friend who travels constantly. You may discover the value isn't travel itself, but freedom and flexibility. The ability to choose how you spend your time. That value can be honored in many ways, not just by copying their life. Step 4. Make one tiny, concrete move toward that value. What to do? Pick one small action that moves you 1% closer to the value you uncovered. If you value emotional safety, send an honest message to someone you trust. If you value creative expression, commit to 20 minutes a day on a project. If you value stability, write down your finances for the first time. Not a life overhaul, just one tiny move. Why it works in the brain. Action gives your brain a sense of agency. When you move toward what you want, even in a small way, your nervous system shifts from helpless comparison to active engagement. That shift reduces the need to use jealousy as a coping mechanism, because now, part of your brain can say, I'm at least walking in my direction. Example, after feeling jealous of your friend's close friend group, you decide to invite 2 people for coffee instead of waiting to be picked. It's small, but it tells your brain, I'm not just watching life, I'm participating. Step 5. Be honest with at least one person when safe. What to do? If the relationship is safe and emotionally mature, you can gently share a version of your experience. I'm honestly really happy for you, and part of me feels left behind. I'm working on it, but I want it to be real. Why it works in the brain. Secrecy amplifies shame. When you bring a feeling into a safe connection, your brain gets new data. I can have complicated emotions and still be loved. This rewires the association between jealousy and moral failure. It becomes just human. Example, you tell a close friend that their recent success triggered some insecurity, but that you're happy for them and working through it. A good friend will often respond with understanding, and sometimes with their own fears. Now, you're not alone in your head. 6. Putting it all together, jealousy as a compass. So here's the mental model you can carry with you. Jealousy of people you love equals mirror plus alarm plus compass. It's a mirror showing you the gap between your current life and your quiet expectations. It's an alarm that your sense of identity or place in the group feels threatened, and it can become a compass pointing toward what you actually value, but haven't fully moved toward yet. You don't have to fight the feeling. You don't have to pretend you're above it. You just have to listen to what it's trying to tell you about your desires, your fears, your story of what a good life is supposed to look like. 7. A quiet ending. Thought, you are allowed to feel jealous and still be a loving friend, a caring sibling, a good partner. Your emotions are not a verdict on your character. They're messages from deeper parts of you that still want something. The next time you feel that quiet sting when someone you love shares good news, try this sentence in your mind. I'm happy for them, and this feeling is showing me something I want to heal, or something I still want to grow into. Not a confession of guilt, just a moment of honesty with yourself. Because underneath jealousy, there is often a very simple, very human truth. You want your life to matter too. And that wanting is nothing to be ashamed of.